What's up, everybody? It's the HBHOES, Sam and Maddie, with a special guest, Jenna. Oh, Jenna Elise.
Hello.
Say hi, guys.
Hello.
Today we are bringing an extra special podcast episode of, we're just talking about the White Lotus. We're talking about the theories of season 2. Just all together, we wanted to first of all, we just wanted to talk about it more because our just weekly discussion pods were just not enough at all. We wanted to bring Jenna onto it because she is caught up. She's in it.
Binged watched it in like 2 days.
Yeah, exactly.
The
I was
season
so excited.
and to be current. Yeah.
Yes, so I was very excited when she finished it. If you guys are following us on Instagram, you will see that I posted stories of our conversation of just Chrissy Moltisanti and Chrissy Moltisanti in the flesh. So today we are bringing a special episode of just us talking about the theories because no one knows what the fuck is going to happen with this show, and we wanted to discuss amongst ourselves. So just your friendly spoiler warning: if you haven't seen the White Lotus at all, season 2, get the fuck out of here. Bye. This is not your space. But I guess what we'll do is we're going to start with a similar game to Fuck, Marry, Kill, but who killed, who done it? It's like kill or be killed, right? Like who's the most devious character capable of killing, and who is the most killable character, or the person that is the easily the most killable, I guess.
Yeah.
So we'll start. Yeah, I get that's a. Did I explain that okay? I don't know. Jenna just gave me a confused.
Who's the most murderous and who is the most vulnerable?
I guess
most likely to be murdered.
To be killed. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The most likely.
Kill or be killed, baby. Mm-hmm. All right, Maddie, what do you think?
Okay, so I'm not gonna try to back this up with any crazy like nuanced details, but just on like a surface level, and I hate to say this even for myself, but Jack is he's so surprising that I think it makes me think like I really don't know what you're capable of at all. So I think in that regard, I'm like, you could be a killer. You could be the killer. I don't know why he would, because he did have that weird confession. And I was like, okay, you would not be able to kill someone. You'd confess immediately.
Mm-hmm. Or he'd kill someone and then get really, really drunk and sob.
Yeah, he'd kill somebody on accident. He wouldn't actually, he's not like a murderer.
Yeah, but he'll do some crazy shit. So I'm like, I don't know. I think like how many licks does it take to get to the center, right? So like how many times do you have to be desensitized until you do something heinous?
Very good point. Yeah.
So I think like in that regard, Jack is going to be my answer. I mean, I have a few other heinous characters, but like for now, this would be my pick. He made me feel so unsafe by proxy in this episode. I was like, no, don't take Portia. Don't take me anywhere. And then most likely to be killed. And again, going with like movie and TV theories, we talked about this a little bit, but when someone is on the up and up, or they're being real positive, or they're saying some shit about like life is gonna turn, we're gonna turn a new leaf, they usually die soon after.
Are you gonna say Jack again?
No, I'm gonna say Mia, because she's had such good interactions with people. She's had just some nice moments with a few people, and she, even though she's being a little hoe, she's like, it's like joyous.
Yeah, she's a little like flower hoe. She's spreading positivity with her vagina.
Yeah, truly. Yeah, she's letting those fucking vagina wings take her places. How you should.
Oh my God.
How you should. So
okay. Yeah, no, arguable thoughts for sure, Maddie. What about you, Jen?
So most likely to be a killer. Right off rip, I want to say Ethan, just because of last episode. Because I feel like he's on the verge of this like psychotic break of Like he's just going crazy, and it's funny too because it's very as I watched the most recent episode, it's very Othello vibes to me.
Yes.
If you were familiar with Shakespeare's Othello at all, that's what it's giving. It's giving he's like being duped into believing something, and it's gonna cause him to go crazy. And
like Alfred Hitchcock Psycho, if you will.
Yeah, so like right off rip, I want to say Ethan, just for his actions in the last episode, but also as a whole, because like a gut feeling person, I want to say Albie, because he's a very like he tries to play off the nice guy thing so much, and it gives me creepy vibes. It gives me like, but I'm a nice guy. But I'm like, you know,
you can tell that Jenna.
I wanna take care of the broken birds. Like what?
Yeah.
Yeah,
like, Sam had mentioned
creeper,
that,
like stalker vibes to me. So like, I could also see him growing like severely attached and killing because of it, and
murderous. You can tell that for our loyal listeners, you can tell that Jenna and I were raised in the same households because of that note that she said.
Yeah, truly. I was not shocked when Jenna said it. I was like, wow, Sam said the same thing. Amazing.
Oh, really? I didn't listen to any of the pods, so that's really fucking funny. But yeah, so those are like my two like off rip, like both gut feeling and from what I've seen. And then to be killed, I agree with Mia, because like you said, that the person who's usually positive and you know she has always wanted to be a singer, and she gets her like chance to do that. Not that it's like a crazy breakthrough like opportunity, but it's still something that she loves to do, and she got the opportunity to do it, and you know, whatever. But other than her, I would probably say as much as I don't think it's going to happen, but Tanya, just because the situation that she's in, I don't think it's really going to happen. I really think she's going to make it to season 3 as a constant in the show, but situational where the story is. She's set up to be trapped. And
100%. 100%. Yeah. Well, I think Daphne's gonna kill somebody, and I think Lucha's gonna die. So I'm just gonna.
Ooh, just like done right there.
Case closed. No, I think that for Daphne being the killer, I think she has just shown, and I think from like a story, not really, I guess we said that we would do this without any context. So I'm just thinking if I knew Daphne in and out, I would think that she has the makings of somebody that could pull off something like this, or like kill somebody and be undetected, just like under the radar. And because of and we see it in everything that she's done in the season so far, she is incredibly smart and incredibly savvy, and
it's really calculated.
Very calculated. And so I think that, it just give her a motive, set up a motive for her, and she will, she'll make sure that she comes out on top. And I think that she's that kind of person. So I'm going to say Daphne is the killer, and I'm going to say Lucia as the most killable, because, I mean, number one, obviously, she puts herself in these situations every single day as a sex worker. Obviously, we know it's not really safe out here in these streets, right? So that is just like a real world, note about that. But also Lucia in the very beginning, Maddie and I have talked about this a lot. She's very reckless. Like she's just really making her way around this whole fucking resort and like not paying any mind to like any of the lives that she may or may not be damaging, any of the reputations. Like she does not give a fuck if they literally all eat dinner and drink in the same place every single night, and she is there hooking up with a new guy every single time. And I'm just like, girl, that is sus. And then not to mention like this pimp boyfriend, ex John, whoever the fuck this like partner in crime Alessio guy is, like if he is actually dangerous, which he seems to be, whether he's dangerous towards Lucio or anybody else, he's dangerous. And I'm like, okay, you being involved with that, it's at a certain point it's going to come back and you're going to be in a dangerous situation. Yes. You're going to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
So
that's the thing. It's like it's really hard not to agree on all these things because everybody is just fucking sus at this point.
I know,
and that's why we're here.
That's the magic. That
is
the
magic.
The magic of White Lotus.
The magic of Mike White, man. Like, God, even
the Beyonce of TV.
The Beyonce of fucking television, man. Just cable TV, home box office TV. But
hell yeah.
I don't know if we want to just like dive in. Do you guys actually, for like your theories, like what you think might actually work out? Do you think that your killer and killie are actually like, are they involved in your theories at all? Like, do you want to dive in deeper to what you guys have said? Because both my killer and killie are actually part of my theories, but we can talk about that after we talk about you guys.
So I only have killer and killie theories because we played the game. But all of my theories are more about like the scandal and the scams that are going on. I honestly don't even want to guess on who's going to die or who's going to be the killer because I know that I'm going to be wrong. So wrong. Just far away, very cold, not hot. I'm like, let's just dive in. And on that note, my first one is the Lucia Alessio thing. I think it's a scam. I think that she is driving the nail home for Albie. That's why she went back at the end of the night after that scare on the road. And she is just like, oh, I'm in need and blah, blah, blah. And he'll probably give her the money. And they used that road incident as a scare tactic. Thank God they didn't hurt Bert. Jesus, that was so scary.
Poor man.
And you know, like she's probably just going to get a bunch of money out of him and then go back to Alessio and be like, look at us.
Look, Daddy.
Yeah. I've also wondered if more she's trying to, I wouldn't say like a good side of her, but like a good reasoning is her maybe trying to scam her way into getting out of Sicily. As in, like, 100%. Albie will take her back to LA.
That's what I thought too.
Kind of like tired of everything that's going on because we don't know who this guy is. If it is an ex, a pimp, it could be her brother for all we know. Them working together. Like there was really no matter what she says about him, it doesn't matter because we don't know the whole story. So whoever this guy is, regardless, it could be a scam in general that they started, and then the scam turned into her scamming her pimp, essentially, because now she's like, you know what? I'm tired of doing this. I'm just going to try to look out for myself and get out of here.
And also, like, look at how much money she has garnered just at this 1 6-day in the White Lotus alone. I mean, she's making $3,000 a night. And then I think also like Dom just being like, yeah, you're on our rooms, charge everything to it, which like, I can't wait to see that bill, number one.
Yeah, all the like dinners and all that.
And the shopping. They went shopping immediately after. And you know that those resort boutiques are fucking overpriced as all hell.
Oh, yeah.
But so basically what I'm saying is I agree with both of you. I think either or could be happening. She's either trying to scam Albie out of a ton of money with Alessio, or she's trying to get the fuck out of there because she's always talked about going to LA. So one thing that we do know from the in the next episode preview is that Albie is talking to Dom, and Dom says like, you can't save every desperate girl like you meet, right? So like Albie is clearly asking for something, either money for Lucia or for Lucia to come back with them. So
Oh.
yeah. So, but basically, I mean, but that kind of goes into a bigger theory about like I personally think that Lucia is going to die. I think that I think that she's just not going to make it. I don't know about Mia, but I really think that Lucia is going to die because there is a like a little scene that I saw, whether it be actually used or not, or if it was just like D-roll they needed for this video that they were making to promote White Lotus or whatever, but it's literally just the three DeGrasso boys at the airport by themselves. Lucia is not with them, and they all look fucking miserable. So it's like you can tell like something really bad happened, but they don't have any other connections at the White Lotus, not even Mia, right? Because like Albie doesn't, they all look equally depressed. So that's just kind of like my one little content piece indicator that like Lucia probably is one of the bodies. And like, let's be clear, multiple bodies, not just one.
Yeah.
A lot of people still
Right.
think just what the one body in the water. It's not. There are multiple guests. Keyword is guests. Keyword is multiple that die. Right.
Yeah,
So
I love how Sammy was texting me with zoomed in pictures of an ankle in the water. So like, does this look like a female ankle to you?
Is that an anklet?
Honestly, no. On the ankle, there are what are they called again? Blisters. Like no blisters.
Bruises?
No. It was a blister scar. I know a blister scar. My whole ankle is black with them. Like just for the rest of my life because of how many uncomfortable shoes I've worn. And I was like, this screams female to me. Like,
yeah, I agree. The first time I ever saw the episode, I thought the body looked dainty and feminine. I was like, oh, that's a whore. That's a whore in the water. I hate to say it because they were out here doing the Lord's work, like support the naked hustle, but fuck. Jeez.
Yeah, and it sucks that like all of the men in this are just like relatively hairless, and I'm just like, are you fucking? You can't give us one hairy-legged man that we can just cross off the list, like. And then but what's also sus is that Albie literally is just out here fucking all these times with like ankle, like fucking not thigh high, but like calf high sock, like tube socks on every time, and I'm like, are they trying to hide his feet from us? That's what I was thinking the entire time.
I actually think there's some psychology behind why men leave their socks on during sex. I think you can Google it. I'm not 100% sure. Fact check me for sure. But I think I've seen something about that before. We'll find out.
I don't think I would ever have sex with a guy if he took off all his clothes except his socks. I'm just
maybe
gonna say
red flag is it dainty, damaged birds, stalker, leave your socks on during sex, red flags, all of it.
He probably just has bad circulation. You guys are awful.
He probably has fungus, is what he has, which is red flag.
Okay, well maybe he doesn't know how to fix it, and he needs someone to look at it and be like, "Hey, I know what that is."
Spent the money on the fungus and not a trip to Sicily. Okay, so
yeah.
You got a point there.
Dad, I need to go to the bank. I need to take out $2,000 because I got my dick sucked last night. Like, Albie.
Okay, yeah, great fucking point. Great fucking point. I was really rooting for him, but...
Alright, so I had to Google it. And the first thing that comes up is, why do men wear socks when they have sex? And somebody answered, socks equal warm, warm feet equal comfort, comfort equals better sex.
Men!
What a formula.
First answer.
I knew something. Don't count me out. Sorry if I'm telling your secrets, boys, but...
What a formula. What a formula. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
okay, Jenna. Yeah, that's all we needed. Jenna, what are your thoughts on Lucia? What do you think? Killer, killy, nothing?
I mean, honestly, I don't really think... I'm also trying to think of it as... comparing it to first season. And I remember I said this to you, Sam, where like the way that the first season went is all the locals suffered, essentially, and everybody else just kind of got off scot-free. Like, all the locals got screwed over. The Belinda with the business thing, when Tanya promised her the, you know, business. Obviously, Armand dying, you know, just straight up. What's his name getting caught for stealing the bracelets, yada yada yada.
Oh yeah,
you know, it's always
the one woman giving birth in the friggin' employee
birth in the office, and So it's always like the locals that suffer. So it makes me want to think that something is going to happen with Lucia, just to keep on theme with the, you know, the white people, white rich people coming into this resort and just fucking everything up. So, I mean, that's just aside from all of the questionable things that she puts herself in with the scamming and being a sex worker and all that. But that's just like another like reason on top, is I think just from the writing in general. I think that's what will end up happening. I do think it is a possibility that she will be. I'm leaning towards Mia more just because of the happiness scale, you know, things are looking good for her, so it's like a more of like a tragic thing. I think Lucia is almost to be expected. It's kind of too obvious to me, so that's why I'm leaning more towards Mia, though.
And we've talked about that. I've talked about that with you, Jenna, and with you, Maddie, about Mike White's, like, his writing style. And if we're comparing it to season 1, whereas like Armand, who is the hotel manager who inevitably dies in season 1. Oh, spoiler warning, if you haven't watched season 1, get the fuck out. But
well, we already had the spoiler, you know, warning in the beginning. So.
But he dies, and he is at his absolute worst, right? He is at his rock bottom. He not only relapsed, he's been like binging, you know, drugs and fucking employees.
He's having orgies with employees.
Like, he's doing the absolute worst. Then he gets fired, and then is like, "Fuck this! I'm going out with a bang or a stab."
Well, it's more because he was so tightly wound in the beginning, for having everything be so perfect, and he's a manager, and he's just being driven crazy by all these rich white people, and he's just like trying to hold it together, and we just see the journey of him not being able to hold it in anymore. Like, he wants to do what he wants to do.
Exactly. So with that being said,
God, literally and figuratively, just couldn't hold it in anymore.
He had to get buns out and dicks out and all the
shit in that suitcase, man.
Yeah, shit in the suitcase. And you know what? I'm sorry, but I have to say this on behalf of all fucking people in customer service. We get it. It was honestly cathartic to see that, and I do not condone this. Don't do this. Don't lose your job. Don't get stabbed on accident.
So
but I understood.
Absolutely understood. But reeling it back, he was, God, I forgot my point now. He was an unexpected death. And he also was at his rock bottom. He wasn't on this climb, this character arc of like, oh, he's doing great. You're doing great.
Yeah, that's a great point.
No, not at all. Not at all. So he was at his absolute worst. So then it's like, okay, do we consider, like with Mike White? And then also we know that there's anomalies that are thrown in. There's always like, what was crazy is, sorry to change the subject. You guys know what I was saying. I'm sure the listeners also know where I was getting.
Just a quick note, though, is that was only one death, though. This is 3, so it could still be the case for this season.
100%.
It's just there's more.
And then also I got scared of Reddit for a second, and I let the listeners down, because in the last pod that we recorded all of yesterday, I said that I wasn't going to look at Reddit or White Lotus Twitter until the finale, because I didn't want to ruin it for myself. And the thing is, I lied. And
how long did that even last? 15 minutes, an hour?
That lasted an hour and a half, and then I was like, I can't. I need to look.
Yeah.
But yeah, with all of the okay, so what was the craziest thing is that, and we'll just jump on Tanya right now because I'm about to mention it, but Tanya, I really thought there was this whole cowboy that Quentin was in love with was Greg theory going around since Quentin mentioned it, and he was smoking the Marlboro Reds, and they had this whole beauty conversation, and they saw Madame Butterfly and all this shite. And I was like, so far-fetched. Absolutely no way. There's no fucking way that someone that lives a literal 4,000 almost miles away was in love with someone that you're married to, and you just happen to be like, it seemed so far-fetched. Come to find out, that's true. So Reddit users, like, hats off for figuring it out, but that was why I swore off Reddit for the week, because I was like,
also fuck
they're
you.
ruining all of it. They're ruining all of it for me. But the fact that that was correct makes me skeptical of everything. I'm like, is it hiding in plain sight? Like, is there something that I should be seeing that I'm not seeing? Because that theory being true shook my fucking world. Like, it was insane that was true. Right? The Lucia scamming thing, not insane. Not an insane theory. It happens all the time.
Right. Yeah, no, the Greg connection was pretty wild. I was a little bit upset that Reddit figured it out, though, and not to be like, stop doing your thing. You people are so smart, and I wish I could be like you, but I was also like, fuck, I can't believe they're this smart, and you figured it out, and now I know. And honestly, it was still cool. Like, I was still pleased. I was like, damn, this man is trying to scam her out of her money. They obviously placed him here to be cruising for rich women to marry, and then somehow, I thought kill off, but when we got to the party, there was a lot of ladies, so I was like, they can't be killing all these wives. So
okay,
how are they getting the money?
I will counter that with a thought that I had of Salem. My cat is on my notes. Excuse me. One of my notes is, what if Quentin is trying to extort the both of them, Greg and Tanya?
Yeah.
What if there's a ploy?
He's angry about his life.
Yeah, or like angry that Greg got old, because that's a human thing.
And you did say that in the beginning.
Yeah, how unforgivable and inevitable. However he phrased it, but I'm just like, oh, as if you're not white-haired and chubby on this couch right now. But okay, Quentin, go off. A
Leo in rare form.
So I think that honestly, this one, like, we were able to, like, or not we, I take no credit at all for this. The Redditors were able to figure out this Greg Quentin ship that we had at some point. But where does that leave us? What happens going forward? Because, like, the almost obvious thing is they're trying to nullify or blackmail. Like, they're either trying to nullify Tanya's prenup or blackmail her. But I don't think they're trying to kill her. But there is, and I will hold on to this, it's in the front of my brain, there is an image of Tanya in the trailer for the entire series of her holding a gun that is not Rococo's gun or whatever his name is. The fine-ass Niccolo.
Rococo? That's a time period, girl. I mean, I love Rococo, but
I mean, yeah, everything is Rococo in this fucking palazzo. Niccolo, it's not the same gun as Niccolo has. So there's an image of Tanya, and she's holding a gun, and there's duct tape next to her, and then there's a rope, and she's clearly going through a duffel bag. And I'm like, okay, where does Tanya go off? What do you guys think is going to happen with her?
That's a great question. I actually was thinking that Portia might die in some kind of situation with Tanya, because Tanya could make it out. I think Tanya is smarter than she lets on, but she probably wants to see what's going on fully. She's a curious white person, which is always usually their fail in, like, scary movies. Like, don't go investigate. She's investigating. But I think Portia, now that she's put two and two together, might swoop in and, like, jump in front of the bullet or something. I don't know. I don't know if they'll try to kill Tanya, but I feel like Tanya might put herself in a situation like, hey, I saw these guns. I know you guys have these drugs. You've been saying this thing about the mafia, 2 times is a fucking coincidence. 3 times is fucking facts. So, I don't know. I just feel like she might, like, badger too much and, like, try to, like, pry. And then they'll be like, we have to fucking kill you now. And then Portia's going to bust in and be like, don't. And then Portia's going to die. If they need me in the writing room, just call.
Need you in a Disney writing room.
Oh, thank you. That's so nice, actually.
Okay, Jenna, what do you think? What do you think of the whole Tanya situation as of late? What do you think is going to happen?
I mean, obviously, we can all agree on the whole trying to get the prenup null and void. We know what's going on. The problem that I have with the writing in general is that I hate that it is so obvious that this is a really shitty situation where people are most likely going to die, which makes me believe that no one is going to die in that situation. Because I think it's too obvious. Yeah, I think it's just, I think it's too obvious. Like, they're setting up this huge thing where, they're obviously trying to catch her in this thing, and they're always talking about beauty and, the Madame Butterfly thing, and it's just all these connections that just make things really, really obvious that someone in that storyline, that particular part, is going to end up dead. And I think with the writing, I think it's just being thrown in our face as a red herring. Not that the whole show isn't a whole bunch of fucking red herrings anyway, but I think her whole situation is the most red herring of them all because it's drugs and partying and this not incest but incest thing going on, and guns and, like, it's drugs. It's just all this stuff going on that just makes it very, like, this, like, quintessential, like, shit's gonna go down scenario. And I think it's just being thrown in our face, and more is happening elsewhere. So, but I do think she is the type of person to confront instead of, like, trying to, weasel her way out and, like, get out of there without being, like, seen or heard or anything. She's very confrontational with her feelings, I feel like. But she's also hopped up on coke, so who knows what's going on.
So much. I think I said it last night, and I'll say it again. She was fucking railing that coke. Like, it was not little bumps. That shit was a hefty line.
Yeah.
Kids, don't do it.
And then I just love her, like, give me your bag. I want to do more. And
just like, let's look in your cocaine bag.
Yeah, she went from, like, I haven't done this in forever to, I'm just going to freaking do a whole,
I thought she was going to die. I literally thought she was going to die right there. I thought that was going to be her first death. Fucking cocaine OD. Boom. Out of there.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Jenna, on the sense that it's red herring. I think that if anything, any casualty from the situation would probably be Portia. So I agree with you too on that, Maddie. But, like, I also think that one of the major shocks of the season is going to be Portia is not dumb, and she's going to come out of it. She's outsmarting them because, like, I can't get over, and this is the only thing that makes sense, is she goes first. There's two things here. There's two sides. There's a Quentin dumb side, and then there's a Tanya smart side. Tanya going into the room, seeing the picture of Greg and Quentin from when they were younger, and then still just being like, oh, there's an Italian dick, like, just continuing her night as normal. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's interesting. But I think it's just, everything is just noted. Like, she's like, okay, noted thing with Quentin and Jack, noted, like, the Palazzo, noted, like, his comments about how expensive the upkeep is, like, all this stuff. Like, it's just, I feel like she's just, it's all there. It's all stored. And we've seen Tanya be really self-aware and aware of her surroundings before. even though that's usually drowned out by her ditziness. So, but then on a Quentin side, I guess my question with this fucking guy is like, you know that they're going to be using this bedroom to fuck, right? You know that that's where the camera is set up. You know that that's where all the business is happening. Why would you leave a photo out? That's why I said, what if Quentin is trying to play the both of them, both Craig and Tanya?
Yeah.
Because why would you leave, like, you can't be like, if you're trying to pull off a master scheme, especially if you've done this before, can't be sloppy like that. Can't be leaving pictures out.
Yeah.
And then also another note, just to throw in here, I don't think it really matters that much in the grand scheme, but like, there's a camera recording Tanya and Riccolo. Riccolo.
Oh my god. No.
You know what's so fucked is that we're Italian too. So like whatever. So then the camera was definitely on with him and Jack. It's pointed exactly where they were. Yeah. So I mean, that's just another little messy Quentin, damn, you's a bitch, like, fact about that man. Yeah.
Well, he's probably in the mafia too, so.
Quentin, with a name like Quentin, absolutely not.
Why? Why not?
No, he could be like a do boy for the mafia, but you can't be in the mafia when you're that white, I don't think.
Okay,
Like,
well, you never know.
True.
You never know. Okay.
All right, let's talk about the couples. Yeah, I think this is the biggest
couples. I hated their story right now. It's so unbearable. It's so bad. But yeah, I actually think that you're right about Daphne being the killer. She has been so, it's always the quiet ones. It's always the ones that you don't think. She has been smart. She literally always says the right thing. Even when it's like hard, even when I remember she was talking about her pregnancy and how hard it was, and Cam like took over the story, but the way that she still handled it and like ended the conversation so quickly was very gracious. And I was just like, that, what, like, something about her is just like, yeah, you know what the fuck you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it could be her. Although, as fucking pissy as Harper is, I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised if you fucking killed somebody. Your attitude says you want to kill someone all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Daphne is a mastermind. I think that if anybody of the four of them is capable of killing somebody, it would be Daphne. I also think that she probably has the most motive outside of Ethan in his fit of rage. But honestly, God, I don't know why I'm thinking this, because I didn't see it on Reddit or Twitter or anything. Like, there was no seed planted, but like, I'm just like, what if Daphne orchestrated Cam dying and then made it look like it was Harper and Ethan that did it?
She got all the money.
Yeah, and got to just live her life out with her fucking trainer.
Yeah, but what money though?
I mean, that's the thing. Okay,
that's another thing to kind of think about, because we were talking about it before, how it kind of seems like Cameron either has no money or he's lost his job potentially, and he's just hiding it from Daphne, which a lot of people do. I listen and watch a lot of true crime, and there are a lot of men out there that try to hide losing a job or losing a position, income or anything like that, and then kill because they just can't hold up the lie anymore. So I mean, that would explain everything on credit cards. That would explain always eating and charging the food to the hotel room instead of going out to eat. Because when you're on fucking vacation, especially in a place like Italy or Sicily, like, you go out and you eat. Like, you go and have the food and you explore. But every time they've ever done anything food wise, it's always been at the hotel. charge it to the room.
Or even the winery excursion was probably through the hotel. It was an excursion.
Excursions through the hotel. Everything's charged to the room. Like he, obviously he can't, pay, sex workers. He can't do anything. And that's very, a telltale thing of somebody who is hiding the fact that they are probably unemployed.
Yeah. So, yeah, and then to not necessarily counter that, but one thing that I did mention with Maddie off the pod is that because he works for this hedge fund and this, the financial company that he works for, this could easily have been on like a company credit card, right? Which would still make sense if he's actually broke, but he's charging everything to the company card. Can't charge the prostitutes to the company card, but can charge the wine and the food and the excursions and all that to it. Because it's technically a sales trip because he did pitch a sales idea to Ethan. So that's another thing. But then there actually was a subreddit on it that was just like, okay, is Cam actually broke, or is he just think he's too good to pay a sex worker how much she charges? Which is also very Cam like, right? Like, fuck you. This is all I have. I'm too lazy. Like, I don't want to go to the bank, like just this, like, I'm better than this, you don't deserve whatever attitude that he has. So, like any of those things can be in play. I thought that he was broke from the very beginning. And like, I knew that this was a strategic vacation, just like Harper said. But yeah, I don't know. And then all of the things, like, even if, especially if he is broke, could be another reason for Daft to just kill him off. Like, fuck this guy. Might as well kill him in Sicily. I mean, and then I don't even know if there is a, what's it called? Extraditing. Like, I don't even know if they extradite for murder from Italy to the United States. Like, I don't know if it's one of those countries that where if you commit
I'm sure they do.
Yeah, I'm sure they do because it's a first world country and all that, but probably a lot easier to get away with murder in another country than on vacation with your spouse when you have an alibi and you have witnesses. And then it also makes sense in the very beginning. She was very chatty with those two girls for whatever reason. She was there by herself. Like, her bags were all on the other chair that she was with. So no one was with her that beach day. And, she says, we're leaving today. I'm going to get in the water for the last time. Blah, blah, blah. Enjoy your vacation. It's so romantic, et cetera, et cetera. Like, she's ticking off all those boxes to make sure that, like, her alibi is checked. And then somehow comes across a body in the water, right? So, like, whether that body is actually Cam or not, don't know. But I think if Cam is dead, Daphne is behind it. That's my formula, right? If this, then that, right?
Yeah, because my whole thing was it would be super suspicious to police if she were swimming in the water and she saw her own husband in the water and didn't scream like, "Oh my God, Cameron!" Like, my husband, like, but she just took off running to the beach. So I don't think the body in the water is Cameron's.
I agree.
But yeah, I do agree that if Cameron said it's most likely Daphne. Plus, she has the trainer. She has kids with this trainer, essentially, because she basically said it. Like, that, the kids are more likely not Cameron's. So what better way to start your new life with your trainer, with your husband out of the way?
Especially, I mean,
out of the way.
Yeah, well, exactly. So, and then that, kind of like goes into the, sorry, Maddie, I didn't want to change subjects without you having a thought in. What do you think about Daphne?
No, I agree with that. I actually had a thought, and this is a reach, but I was like, oh, maybe Harper planned it because she's so, Ethan just came into a bunch of money. They've obviously not been relating to one another for such a long time. Like, I don't know. Like, I know she, to be honest, like, her personality doesn't scream killer to me, but I'm just like, people do crazy things that I think are out of character when shit is crazy in life. Like, anyone is liable to do anything at any time. And sometimes you surprise yourself. You don't even know what you're capable of. So I think, like, you know, like I said, this is a complete reach, but I'm like, Harper could be trying to get the money and be like, yeah, I want to live like a fucking good sex life now. Bye.
Yeah, the other thing with Daphne too is that the other thing that throws me off with her is she's very detailed when she talks. She overshares when she talks.
Expressive.
And that's usually a telltale sign of somebody who's lying, is when they give too many details. Again, so, you know, watching a lot of true crime, it's usually the people that try to over-explain what they were doing or give such specific details to try to make themselves seem more truthful. Yeah. And she goes around and she talks like details, like you said in the beginning, the first episode, with her talking to these, you know, two women. It's completely oversharing to complete strangers that she absolutely did not need to say like any of that. And then the same thing too, like the other thing that threw me off was her going and getting the massage, which was super weird to me, because like, one, why would there only be one spot left? I guess that happens. But when she came back, she gave details. Yeah. Like, she could have just said that the massage was great, but instead she had to throw in, like, what the masseuse looked like and, like, how great it was. And, yeah, Mr. Yeah, but it's just the fact that, like, she gives so many details all the time when it's, like, to me, completely unnecessary, which is a thing, a liar thing to do.
Yeah, no, and then on top of that, you know, thinking about to the first episode, not of her finding the body, but of the first like lunch that the couples all have together, and they're talking about what they watch, and she's like, "Oh, I love those serial killer documentaries. Like, the husband always kills the wife in a scuba accident," and just, you know, touching on that like this, you know, and then even then it's like when they're introduced to their rooms and Rocco is pointing out that Ethan asked about the Testa di Moro heads, and she's like, yeah, babe, you know, you better not fuck up, otherwise you'll be buried in the garden. And it's just like little things that seem so innocent, but I'm like, I don't know. I don't know.
Actually, it's very reminiscent of Scream.
Yeah.
To me, where especially in the first Scream, it's the boyfriend and his friend. Spoilers! It's the boyfriend and his friend. You know,
if you haven't watched Scream,
honestly,
I threw it out there just for the hell of it. But it is. It's the boyfriend. It's the boyfriend and the friend who sit there and love horror movies and talk about, you know, like, you know, don't go alone and do, you know. So it's like they throw it out there that that's them.
It's little tidbits that you think wouldn't even matter, but then when, like, if you go back and rewatch the whole thing, you're like, I caught that, and like that's exactly what I did, and that's why, like, my bet is Daphne. And then also what we talked about in our last podcast, just the discussion of episode 6, like how Daphne had such a minor part in episode 6, because I think that it's gearing up for a huge part in episode 7. Also, the person that in season, if we're mirroring season 1 and season 2, the first guest that we see of the White Lotus in season 1 is the douchebag. What's his name? I don't know. It doesn't matter. But he is the one that we see at the airport for the first time, where the old couple is trying to talk to him and they say, "Oh, I heard somebody died there." And that's how we know that there's a death, right? But he is the only person from the White Lotus that we see in that airport in that beginning sequence where we're setting up. He also is the killer, accidentally, of course, but is the killer. Daphne is the one that we see in this one. So I'm not saying that it's going to be the exact same, but I'm saying there are a lot of parallels between season 1 and season 2. And I think that Daphne being the only one outside of Valentina and Rocco, who obviously are the they're the employed by the White Lotus, so I'm not taking them into consideration. But she's the only guest that we see in that beginning sequence. So it's just like all signs lead to yes, Daphne has something to do with at least one of the deaths that happen. And like, what if all three deaths are fucking Cam, Ethan, and Harper, and Daphne is just like, all right, peace.
Yeah,
like,
I was thinking about that too.
Oh, yeah, because that like almost brings me back to the whole, because I know that they said that they're murders, like I get it, but that brings me back to the Othello theory, where this is something that Daphne knows about, so technically she does get off scot-free because she technically didn't murder anybody herself, but she knows that it's all happening. Like, she's on the sideline kind of orchestrating and just seeing this all happen, and is completely okay with the three of them all going off their fucking rockers, trying to make each other jealous, and Ethan or Harper finding the condom wrapper and in the room, and her having the latch on the door, and the door open adjoining the rooms was that door was open. It was like all these things where Ethan is just fucking going crazy. So I really think that something is going to happen between the three of them. And we do know that there is a fight between Cameron and Ethan from the preview through next episode. So we know that there's a physical altercation that does happen. But if we're going with the Shakespearean, it would be Ethan killing Harper. And possibly Cameron as well, or trying to, and then killing himself, which it would be that whole thing.
Yeah.
But like you said, if they said murders and not murder-suicide, then that could be like...
Well, and that again could be a language. Is there a way to say murder-suicide in Italian? Who the fuck knows? We don't speak Italian, so like, it could just be a language translation. That and just like
and murder-suicide probably still falls under homicide. You know what I mean?
Yeah. In terms of how the police are called or how they handle the situation.
Right. Exactly.
Especially as the staff clean up and get out and all of that. And then just noting that we only see one body bag coming off of the beach, and so we can only have assume that the other ones are inside the hotel, maybe in the rooms, and somewhere that's not on the beach, right? So I'm just like, okay, it might, like with the whole Daphne killer, Cam Kelly, it could easily be another body in the water. Cam could be dead in the room, right? Like, and so, but Maddie, what are you thinking on our list of people outside of Daphne, and outside of Tanya and outside of Lucia? Like, what are you thinking? Like, who do you have eyes on the most coming into the finale?
Ooh, I mean, so I'm not even thinking about Killer Killy because, again, I am gonna be wrong as hell.
Okay, but be wrong.
Who do I have my eyes on, though? Like, who am I interested in? Like, I want to see their shit blow up. I mean, I think Jack is just so interesting. I'm like, oh, you had to be dug out of a hole, a deep fucking hole, and Greg was the one who helped you get out of it. Like, I want more answers to that. Like, I want to see what their whole slew is and how Jack plays into that specifically, because I'm like, if this is just like how is he benefiting this? How is he helping you guys, and how are you helping him? I definitely want to know more about that. And obviously, like, Ethan and Harper, like, I'm as fucked up as their shit is. Like, I was rooting for them from the beginning. I'm like, damn, y'all are going through some shit, and now Ethan's all fucking duped, and it's probably going to be bad, and I don't want it to be this way, but I am interested.
Okay, so my thoughts on that. I think Ethan and Harper are going to be great, actually, and I think if anybody of the couples die, my guess was always Cameron, but now it's kind of Harper.
Mm.
Just because that would be probably the most tragic of the four of them, considering Ethan is now off his rocker, and we know Queen Daphne is not going to die. So, yeah, I'm thinking it might be Harper, and I'm thinking that also in tie with Lucia because they both like have this almost the same exact hairstyle and color. And so it could be a mistaken identity case where Alessio comes in and fucking shoots Harper in the back of the head thinking that it's Lucia, or Albie tries to save Harper and, you know, and it's not, I don't know. I'm thinking that might come in.
That would
But,
be crazy.
Or
you
it
know,
could
the
be
thing
just
is
all,
like,
or it could be just all three of them. All three of them are just fucking sick of Cameron, and they're like, "Hey, he's, you know, Ethan and Harper can be like, hey, Cameron's caused us a lot of shit. You know, he left. You know, he's, you know, he got fucking accidentally naked in front of Harper, and accidentally left a condom wrapper, and he's accidentally doing all of these things that are clearly throwing a wrench in their relationship."
Mm-hmm.
And then we already talked about Daphne just, you know, in her trainer and probably just wanting out of the marriage anyway. So it could possibly be all three of them working together and be like, you know what? The common denominator of all of our shit right now is Cameron. Fuck him.
Honestly, that's my favorite theory and favorite ending for this. Thank you. I hope that happens because honestly, Daphne deserves better. I remember there was a few conversations with Harper where even though she played it cool, she seemed hurt. Like she seemed like, yeah, like this shit, I do what I need to do to make myself feel better, but like this doesn't make me happy.
yeah,
She's very like 50s housewife to me in that sense where you know that your husband is unfaithful and you know you have a lot of issues, but it's you keep up appearances anyway.
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, you have the nuclear family where you have, you know, the husband and that, you know, he has a great paying job, he's the breadwinner, and you have kids and everything seems so fantastic.
Yeah, you know, in the beginning, I kind of like I thought the same way, and then we immediately got scenes of them behind closed doors and how happy they seemed, and then the more and more we go, the more and more I like almost know that Daphne is acting. And it like specifically with Cameron that like she's that happy and they get along this well and they have this great banter and they have this great flirting relationship. And in the first couple episodes I was like, yeah, this is great, like this is exactly what I want with my husband, you know, not necessarily the infidelity, but if that's like a side effect from having extreme compatibility and a happy life and whatever, then like maybe I'm open to it. I don't know, I'm not married yet, I have no idea. But like the more and more we go on, I think the more and more I'm realizing like Daphne isn't actually happy. The thing is she might be unhappy, but she's not a victim. And like that's the biggest thing is that, you know, we like I just don't want to talk about her like she's a victim because she is very well capable of leaving this situation. And she's not for a reason. And she obviously is self-serving here. And I'm like, fucking hats off to you. Like Cameron thinks that he can fuck around and do whatever he wants. And maybe she also fucks around and maybe he knows about it. But, you know, I don't want to talk about either of them like they're like abusing each other because they're not. They're lying and, you know, and cheating and that's wrong, you know, but at the same time, like, who the fuck are we to judge somebody else, you know, any sort of relationship anyways. But yeah, no, the more and more I see her, like it was, there are just specific moments where I was just like, yeah, she doesn't seem happy and she seems like she's over it. She's done. And I think it's just kind of like leading up to a boiling point probably for her. But yeah, no, I don't know why I'm just thinking that like Harper dying is the most tragic of the four of them dying. And I just like, I don't know, there's just some sort of like, there's been a lot of symbolism with the paintings and her walking out to the pier and standing like with the water. And then, you know, there have been people on Reddit that have said like, oh, every time she's in the shot outside, like there's birds there and birds are like, and there was one interview that the actual composer for it did that said the last two episodes are very dark. And he had a hard time getting through them. And I'm thinking that, you know, what, like, we know that murder's happening, but like, I think that something even more sinister might happen, like rape, or I hope it's allowed to say that on YouTube. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on YouTube.
Sorry, trigger warning, but yeah, I agree. Something more sinister.
So yeah, when we're thinking about that, I'm just like, okay, like I just feel like Harper is going to be at the forefront of that, and that's going to topple over into something that ends up, you know, like going into someone dying. So, okay, Jenna, what do you think? I haven't asked you yet what you thought. Like, killer killy, like for real, with context.
It's, I don't know. It's really hard.
It's hard.
My brain just wants to say that anything's possible, which that's the whole fucking point of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Because as much as I try to focus on like a main killer killy, like I keep thinking about other possible things that can happen, like other storylines that are thrown into the mix that are thrown to the wayside because these other bigger things are more apparent. Because obviously the Quentin and Tanya thing is huge, and you know, Portia and Jack, that whole thing being tied in, you know, with them is huge. Plus she's alone with him. Like they're not even like they're in the room, right? That's the last place that the
It's
two of
just
them
her
are
and
together.
Riccolo in the room. Yeah.
No, I'm talking about Portia and Jack.
Oh yeah, they're just in the hotel room.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's like, you know, they're alone by themselves. But then you know, I'm sitting here and I'm like, I don't want to count out anybody else. Like I don't want to count out Valentina. I don't want to count out the piano man. Like part of me feels like Giuseppe. A part of me really feels like he's gonna come back with a vengeance and kill Mia.
Yes,
like, and just Mia's one of the three that dies as like not a major, you know, plot point. Obviously, like I said, there's bigger storylines going on, but that's just a very real possibility of him coming back and being pissed off that
disgruntled,
got fucking drugged, and he lost out on money, and yeah, and then you know she's essentially, he could see it as her doing it on purpose to try to get his job, and then she's singing, you know, at the resort, and you know I can see Valentina letting her sing another night, and he comes walking in while she's singing, and then it's just proof right there that she possibly did it to maliciously when it really wasn't. You know, so it's like I don't want to count those stories out. I also don't want to count out, and I know this is like super weird, but I also don't want to count out Bert. I feel like there's something more going on with it. I feel like he's just like I get he's an old man. I get he's clumsy. He has a freaking bandage on his head, and I get that he hasn't been the greatest father either. And there's this, you know, the whole story with the three, you know, family members there, and like I have this like another gut feeling that something else is going to go on with him, where either like he's going to take matters into his own hands about Albie and Lucia, or he's going to talk to Dom about it, and the two of them are going to do something. So that's also like something where I'm like, is Bert a killer? Like, is he
killed his wife?
But I'm just saying, like, but is he like old school enough to be like Lucia? No, what? Like, I really think like
for causing all the strife between his son and his son's son.
Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah, because what he finds out all this, because throughout the whole season, he keeps saying like, especially to Dom, he's like, "No, that's the girl that I saw in the room. She's around really often." Like, he's fucking smart. He's not some like, he may be old, but he's not fucking dead. Like,
he's not senile at all. That
no,
man
he's
is
not
is
no, he's not. He's freaking sharp as a tack, man. He knows what's going on.
Remember
So
when he
it's
was like, I don't remember, I'm concussed.
Yeah, no, he
Yeah,
said
like
you can't blame me for what I say. I'm concussed.
yeah,
And I'm like, ugh,
yeah.
use
Like,
it.
he's very on point with everything. He knows what
Yeah.
he's saying. He knows he's a smooth talker. But like, to me, he's like very old school, like Italian Sicilian. Like, you're fucking with my family, and you're obviously causing a lot of shit. Like, I think he has the potential to possibly kill either Lucia or, Pip over there, or both. Who knows?
Maybe. Which would be really interesting because he was sure enough about to get out of that car and protect her last episode.
Yeah.
So like, so that,
and that's part of the reason why I started thinking that he has the potential to do more, is because of that scene where he was very much willing to get out, and he was the only one who was like, no, this is fucked up, I'm gonna do something. But I think he's gonna end up figuring out this scheme between the two of them, and he's probably gonna figure out that whole car scene between the two of them was fake, and he's gonna do something about it.
No,
make him swimming with the fishes.
Yeah,
literally, she's found in the water.
Oh my god, thank you for that classic Italian reference. You're gonna be swimming with the fishes.
I mean,
that was great.
With the fishes, and Lucia is found in the water, man. It makes sense.
No, it makes sense.
Okay?
It makes sense.
The blister scars make sense if it is Lucia, because that girl be wearing some crazy shoes.
She's always in some crazy shoes.
No, that's a really great point. I was thinking immediately.
But my point is that, like, there's characters that I think, because since there might be at least 3 deaths. Again, we don't know how many. We just figure that there's at least 3.
Yeah.
I don't want to discount more. I wouldn't call them side characters, but I don't want to discount people that seem like they won't do anything.
Yeah.
And I think Bert is one of those characters.
Absolutely.
Same.
Yeah, that's a very good point, because that would be very Mike White Lotus-esque of, the whole thing of, like, it's just expect the unexpected, right? Like, we have these ideas based on the stuff that we've seen and the symbolism and the trailers and all this stuff of, like, who we think could die, but, like, and who could be a killer, but that is kind of his thing, is that, he comes out of nowhere. And because in season 1, we couldn't have, I thought it was somebody completely different the entire time, because it just, everything was leading up to it being this one person. And then it was not at all who I expected. So I'm like, I'm expecting the same thing, but on like a times 3, which is kind of overwhelming to think about, because like Maddie is saying, like, she's not even going to guess because she knows she's going to be wrong. And I feel the same way. I'm like,
I do. I mean, yeah, granted, I feel the same way too. I'm just throwing things out there. That's why it's so hard for me to like set in stone what I think is going to happen, because I think everybody has the potential to kill or be killed.
Yeah, but I do think, like, for some, I guess, like, most likely, some, I guess, like, superlatives for what's most likely to happen, I do think that they... sorry.
I'm just sorry.
School yearbook this shit.
Exactly. If this is a high school yearbook, like, most likely to kill, most likely to die. I can think of 2 people most likely to kill and most likely to die just from my graduating class right now.
Oh my god. No, really, we're not going to name our graduating class people, but...
No, but I'm just saying it would be hilarious if that was actually a superlative.
Oh my god, that would be awful. I feel like that's the superlative for The Boys, which, aren't they coming off of the spinoff? And I feel like they should add that if they haven't already. So,
not to go completely off track, but was Mr. Hadley there in your graduating class?
Who was Mr. Hadley?
Back in the day in good old PSL.
I didn't have him.
Me neither.
Tyler Hadley?
Oh,
Literally.
Oh,
Was
I'm
he
thinking
in your graduating class?
professors. Oh my
Wow.
god. No, didn't know him.
No.
Actually, did not know him. I was a little bit older.
I was gonna say, I was like, was
he
he in your graduating class or close to you?
he
Close
he
to
would
me. I think he was like a year
Superlative.
younger
he was
too. But
supposed to,
okay,
yeah, he was supposed to
that's a crazy connection. Holy shit.
literally everyone I know was at that party that night.
I know a lot of people that were at that party too.
Yeah, no, he was literally like a grade older than me, so like I was very close to him. Like
I was gonna say, I was like, was he your graduating class? Because there's the superlative right there for you.
Oh my god, yeah, most likely to kill fucking Tyler goddamn Hadley. If you don't know him, Google him.
Yeah, that shit made national news. But
Didn't
anyways, most
fine.
likely to happen in the series, I do think that Daphne most likely is probably a killer and will probably kill somebody. And I also think that most likely Alessio and fucking Lucia are out here scamming in these streets.
Yeah.
Those are my most likelies.
We already know what's going on with Tanya. My biggest question with that now is Greg actually as involved as we think that he is, or is Quentin trying to scam Tanya and Greg equally, and that's why he's being sloppy and leaving the photo out? That's, you know, like trying to draw Tanya a certain way to also fuck over Greg. I don't know. I just don't think it's as clean cut as we think that it is. So that's my question mark. I don't have really any most likelies outside of what you just said.
Yeah,
And
because
yeah,
I mean, we did talk about how we talked about the phone calls a little bit that Greg was having, and again with the obvious thing, I want to go against what the obvious thing is that Greg has something to do with it. There's a part of me that wants to say that he doesn't. I don't know why. And that's the whole phone call conversation thing that I talked about with you, where I think that potentially when he was on the phone and he was saying I love you to someone, he was talking to a child. He was talking to his daughter. So I think maybe, again, they're making it so obvious, like, oh, all of a sudden Greg has to leave for 2 days, and it's so convenient that he has to leave, and, you know, makes him look suspicious, and just
him
whole,
getting
like,
so mad that Portia was there.
Yeah. Like, again, like these red herrings. It's just like, I just don't like when things are that obvious when you're trying to.
When I think that, like, in season 1, it felt very obvious that certain people were going to be the ones that died, and they weren't.
Yeah.
And so I think that it's the same exact thing. It's just like you like one storyline makes so much sense that you're just sold on it until the very end, and then, you know, and then
I mean, there's also the potential that Greg can come back on the last day, and Tanya's just so fucking pissed off finding everything out that she just kills Greg. Like, oh, like
I mean, because, like, the thing is they're coming back on a boat because they left on a boat, and the easiest way to get back on a boat. Like, I think what's going to happen is they're going to wake up, have breakfast, and then they're going to make their way back to the resort on a boat, and then the body is in the water already. Someone dies on that boat, probably, right? So, like, that would make sense to me if that was how the storyline is. But, like, I honestly, like, I'm almost like, no, it's too easy. I feel like if anybody within that circle is going to die, it probably would be Portia. That's the most tragic death of all of them, right? Because it's just like, come on, people. We know it's not going to be fucking Tanya. Season 3 is renewed. Mike White is going to bring her back. You know,
we said that we also discussed before about how there's kind of like there would be a tragic death in each group. So, like, in the family group, it would be Dom, I think, would be the most tragic death.
Yeah.
Because of him trying to be a better person, realizing that, you know, the effect that his dad had on him, and now he's reflecting it back to his own son, and how his actions are affecting his family and all the infidelity and everything. And he's yeah, he had a great time with Lucia, but, you know, he realized he made a mistake again, and he's trying to be better. Bert, I don't think would be as tragic because he's older. Like, I hate to say it, but it's just
He's
story
old.
wise, it's not as tragic as if Dom were to die. And then, you know, we already talked about the 4, you know, friends, but then out of the, you know, Portia Tanya group, yeah, Portia would be
The worst.
most
Yeah, that would
tragic.
be the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, if we're thinking about just the hoes as they stand, Mia would be the most tragic.
Yeah.
I think Lucia, it's like she's actually in this life. Mia is not a prostitute. You know,
Right.
she just took a page from Lucia's book and like, okay, I want to make something of myself. Is this is how you might get ahead? So let me just do that. But Lucia is the one that's actually like in it. So Mia dying would be the most tragic for sure.
Yeah.
Gosh. Okay. Well, we got nowhere, people.
Yeah.
No. I mean, but that's the whole point, though. I mean, there's no way to know until we watch that.
Yeah, no, thank you for fucking following
We could all
us
be
down
right,
this
or
yellow
we could
brick
all be
road.
wrong.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. I will not keep my vow. I will be on Reddit every fucking day, every
minute.
waking moment, until Sunday, and then
Sam's
we
gonna
will
be over
likely
here rewatching every episode and
Yes.
you know, screen grabbing and pausing and rewinding.
Literally.
Oh.
I already started last night. I even started watching Mike White's Survivor season just to try to get clues from his you know, like
Funny.
who he took inspiration by that he was on this fucking island with. So, but yeah, I don't know. You know, I guess like really we won't know. That's the ultimate base from this is like we're not going to know until it comes out. That's just Mike White style. And I honestly, I love him for it because, yeah, all the theories sound fucking good and plausible. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm happy that if one of us got it right, I'm happy if none of us got it right. I'm happy either way.
Yeah. This is like it's one of those shows where it's totally okay to be wrong because the shock factor makes the show good.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you being wrong, you're like, holy shit, I didn't see that.
Yeah. That's the fun of it all.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. That's why I think I was really upset when the whole Greg cowboy thing was actually right. And I'm like, how did someone from that got just recently fired from HBO is the one
leaked it.
100% had to have, because I'm like, no one would have thought like what that it was. I was like, this is so crazy. It's such a crazy theory that like, how can this be real?
Yeah.
And like, and then on top of that, now that I know that it is real, like how did someone think about that? And then the whole thing just spread like wildfire, and I was like, oh shit, anything really is possible. The White Lotus, isn't it?
I mean, it's the same thing that happened with Game of Thrones, where people were theory crafting and they were all over Twitter and Reddit, and they were trying to come up with things. And you know, he was actually pretty. I don't want to say that he was upset, but he was like, "Damn, you really figured out everything that I was gonna write."
Yeah.
Shit.
Which is really cool because that's such a lore like fandom universe that it's really cool that what the White Lotus has that fandom behind it too, because normally drama shows or thriller shows, they don't really have this kind of audience. I think like Yellow Jackets is in close running because that's also super crazy mystery show, but yeah, no, I haven't really seen this for any other show that's like in the same caliber of White Lotus or in the same like genre. So it's really cool. I'm just like, yeah, Mike White, you did it. Like you did this, and we're here talking about it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's very cool. But on that note, we will catch you guys back with I don't know, the fucking finale, I guess.
Yeah, see you at the finale. Get your fucking panties.
Feels like it's so far away.
I know, but I also don't want it to end.
I know, because that means people die. I don't want them to die.
Oh, fuck. I want them all to die, but I hate ending podcast series. It really sucks so bad when we're just like, okay, signing off. tier.
That's all right, though. We have something in the works. We'll see you guys in January when it's dry season for TV. We have some fun stuff planned.
Oh yeah, we've got a lot planned. But yeah, I just don't ever want to not be talking about the White Lotus. You know,
it's hard to because they're such short seasons.
I know.
It also makes it difficult.
Yeah.
But I mean, the finale is an hour and 20 minutes, so it's almost short movie. Like it's almost movie length, so that's great. And we got 7 episodes this season. Last season we only got 6, so we should. I guess be grateful.
Maybe season 3 will get 8 episodes.
We'll take it. Wishful thinking. All right, guys.
All right, well,
thank you again. Yeah.
Follow us. Yeah, do the damn thing. Comment on this. We're gonna throw this up on YouTube. Jenna, where can they find you?
I am Jenna Elise on pretty much everything: Instagram, Twitter, all of that. Except Twitch. I do stream on Twitch sometimes. That's just Jenna Elise though. But yeah, Jenna Elise.
Cool. You can find us at hb.hoes on Instagram, hb_hoes on Twitter, or hoes at hbhoes.com via email. So, God, I've had a lot of practice saying that.
You sound like a great broadcaster.
It should be an auctioneer. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.